It is January in Ottawa. Ambient temperature is -10 degrees Celsius. An autonomous drone is flying a 6-kilometer corridor over the frozen Ottawa River. The objective is to fly underneath a steel bridge and survey the deck from below. As soon as the drone enters the structure's shadow, the heavy steel blocks the satellite signals, causing an immediate loss of GPS lock. The system falls back to visual-inertial odometry to hold a hover. That VIO isn't perfect, accumulating drift at half a meter per second squared. Within 30 seconds, the drone's position error exceeds 15 meters. Before it can clear the bridge, a NAV Canada Notice to Air Missions, a NOTAM, activates mid-flight. 200 meters of the corridor required for the return trip are instantly closed. Because of the cold weather drain on the battery, the state of charge is plummeting. The system has exactly 90 seconds before it breaches its critical red battery threshold. Instantly, the drone ignores the mission planner's intended route. It climbs out from under the bridge to reacquire GPS, aborts the survey, and diverts to the last known safe holding point. This sudden abort was the architecture operating as designed, forcing the drone to survive the physical world at the cost of the mission. This diagram maps the taxonomy of digital reasoning, and down at the bottom is Agent 30, the Embodied Intelligence Agent. This is the final agent in the series, where digital reasoning encounters the consequences of mass and friction. The system relies on a 2-layer architecture. On top is the slow tier, a deliberative reasoner. This is an LLM-based mission planner operating at roughly 1 Hz, responsible for plotting 3D waypoints and dreaming the overall mission. On the bottom is the fast tier, a deterministic controller. Powered by an open-source flight stack running at 500 Hz, this layer strictly handles low-level attitude, position, and motor control. The separation between these 2 layers is strict and non-negotiable. The slow reasoning layer is never allowed to communicate directly with the motors. Between them sits the safety gate. This is a literal deterministic kill switch sitting directly between the brain and the body. The brain dreams the mission. This chart outlines the check flight safety tool's 5 strict domains. It verifies weather stays above -10 Celsius, polls NAV Canada NOTAMs every 60 seconds, enforces dynamic battery reserve floors for cold weather degradation, and validates geofencing for greenbelt zones. The final domain is mission geometry. This ensures that any commanded turn radii or climb rates actually fall within the physical limitations of the drone's airframe. These domains operate under the law of conservative constraint fusion. If a single domain fails its check, the entire operational envelope instantly turns red. This red latch response occurs within 500 milliseconds. It completely bypasses the LLM planner and issues a direct, deterministic command to divert. 4 green system lights offer no protection. Implementing an asymmetric loop requires coordinating a fragmented ecosystem of manufacturers, regulators, and open-source developers. The autonomy layer is often handled by platforms like Skydio. They provide the complex visual-inertial odometry required to keep the drone stable when it loses satellite coverage under the steel bridge. For the heavy-lift hardware layer, DJI Enterprise provides the established commercial workhorse, supplying weather-resistant, high-capacity airframes needed to carry sensors into freezing environments. Beneath the commercial hardware sit the open-source fast controllers. Firmwares like PX4 and ArduPilot act as the deterministic nerve centers, executing the high-frequency motor commands. And the external boundaries are drawn by regulatory inputs from Transport Canada and NAV Canada, feeding live data directly into the safety gate. The engineering task is one of integration. This shows field data for the Ottawa mission. At -10 Celsius, a lithium-ion battery's capacity drops 20%. But the true danger is internal resistance. In extreme cold, voltage sags severely every time the drone faces a load. When a 20-kilometer wind gust hits, motors draw massive current to stabilize. That kinetic trigger crushes the voltage curve, causing a silent cliff failure. State of charge drops from 28% to the 15% floor in under 90 seconds. This exposes the vulnerability of relying on an LLM for real-time safety. If the planner takes just 3 seconds to compute a new route around a closed corridor, the hovering drone bleeds away its remaining safety margin. A software delay in a chatbot is a bug. A software delay in a drone is a physical crash. To prevent this, the system enforces an ultimate timeout protocol. If the mission planner fails to compute a safe reroute within 10 seconds, the veto becomes permanent. The hardware immediately initiates an automated return-to-home sequence, overwriting all previous commands. The LLM's complex mission goals are completely disregarded to save the airframe. The rationale for this rigid architecture is simple. An incomplete infrastructure survey is an annoyance. A drone falling out of the sky over a city is a federal incident. This layered approach runs counter to the trend of end-to-end AI, where a single neural network attempts to handle both abstract reasoning and physical motor control simultaneously. 40 years of robotics have consistently proven that merging these functions fails. That is the defining rule of Agent 30. You do not trust intelligence with safety. You constrain intelligence with safety.